Bim, 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 bim. Guess what? We're live. It's Saturday, and it's time for what a week that was. Where we look at the week's news. I've actually got it completely on the wrong day as well. What is going on here? There we are. Oh, this has not gone well at all. I'm so not prepared today. It doesn't matter though, because we're talking about Sunday, which was the day after the coronation. As I like to keep saying, the royal coronation, but I don't know many other coronations there are, I'll be honest, other than royal coronations. Anyway, the aftermath began. Hello Smiley Mac, hope you're good. The aftermath began on the coronation at the party thing that they did. I didn't watch it because, let's be honest, they're always crap. But Prince William apparently, the Prince of Wales, give out a lovely, hey Angela, give out a lovely speech and tribute to his father, saying how wonderful he was and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Then I remembered I couldn't care less because it's only the royal family. The police, they said that, or they were told that they'd done a direct attack on democracy after 60 were arrested before and during the Not Our King protests. People are obviously allowed to, in Britain, protest peacefully, as long as they're not idiots, like Stop Oil and those kind of people. But yeah, basically the police arrested 60 people before they'd even done anything wrong. But they did say earlier in the week that they were going to land heavily on people who they thought might be causing trouble. So I don't understand quite what the protests were about, but there you go. So yeah, the Conservatives, well, in the elections didn't do as well as people thought, and now they've been told that there should be a change of direction needed for the Tories after the local election results. Now, bizarrely, from local election results, Keir Starmer and Labour seem to think that he's a Prime Minister-elect. It doesn't work like that. It's a local election. People vote differently in a local election and a national election. For example, I wouldn't even attempt to stand as an independent in a general election. But obviously I will do in a local election because I've got more chance of getting in, and there's some more you can do locally than what there is if you get, in the Houses of Parliament. Although to be fair, you just get pension for life after that, don't you? But yeah, he's saying that they can win outright a general election, and I'm like, nah, Keir, no, it doesn't work like that because you didn't do that well, considering how bad the Tories are. You didn't do that well. Because no one knows what you're talking about. No one knows what your policies are. No one knows who you are. No one cares, to be fair. It's get to the stage where if you think the only way you're going to get elected is because you're not Tory, then you're not fit to be Prime Minister. Anyway. Meanwhile in America, sadly, tragedy struck at a shopping mall. 8 people in Texas shot dead by a lone gunman. Sadly, not the first time that we've reported this kind of thing, and to be fair, it won't be the last time either. It just seems to be going on and on and on in America, and it's awful for the people of America in many ways. Back to the Not My King protests. Met Police express regret over the arrests of anti-monarchy protesters. Yeah, but they'd have been slated if they hadn't have arrested these people, and these people had have done. I know they didn't do anything. It's a bit like Minority Report, isn't it? You're getting arrested or taken out before you do something. But I mean, let's be honest. Protesters recently have been a bit, well, crap. So yeah, stand there, wave your placard, shout you're not like king and all that kind of stuff. But just like the majority of the people who want to get on with it, get on with it. It was a bank holiday, and it was the big help out, and there was a photo opportunity for the Princess of Wales and their children. We've got George, Charlotte and Louis, who is fast becoming some kind of superstar around the world. Now, William and Catherine have said that they want to bring up the kids as best as they can, as normal as they can. So they let a 5-year-old have a go on a real life digger, because that's what 5-year-olds do. I mean, they wish they could. I know I would have done it at 5. I'd love to have done that, but well, I wasn't in the royal family because I'm not that special. The Met Police, they shot 2 dogs dead and tasered their owner on a canal bank, which was a bit bizarre because the dogs have been reported to have attacked someone, but then they couldn't find out who they'd attacked. And obviously when 2 dogs like that have got strangers coming up to them, obviously they don't understand the concept of guns and things like that because they're dogs. But people coming up being aggressive to their pack leader, i.e. the human, then they are going to be aggressive back. So I think the police, again, need to apologise, the Met Police, for another mess up. It's a bit like Laurel and Hardy, except it's not funny. It's just tragic that 2 dogs lost their lives, possibly for no reason whatsoever, other than trigger happy police people. Anyway, that brings us to Tuesday. And Donald Trump, everyone's favourite, well, guilty of sexual misconduct, abused a woman and said he will appeal after the jury verdict. Yeah, should not be anywhere. Oh, hey up, and he's on. Hiya, Elder. Elder, I'm Elder. Hiya, Annie. Hope you're good. In Iran, in Pakistan even, protests and violence after Imran Khan was arrested by the authorities. Imran Khan was the president of Pakistan, former cricket player, and he was arrested and placed in police custody over various allegations which don't have much substance as far as I can make out. It was announced that the first baby born via IVF with the DNA of 3 people has been actually conceived, born, and is doing well. We don't know because they wouldn't tell us, but it is an interesting concept. It's to get rid of illnesses that are genetic. So you have the 2 donor parents, and then you have someone who hasn't got the DNA with the genetic malfunction in it, and you replace the malfunctioning DNA with the DNA from the 3rd person, and that will create a child from the first 2 people, but hopefully without the possible genetic disorders of one or both of the parents. It sounds cool, but it also sounds like designer babies. It's a bit worrying. Thin wedge, I think. A weird interview. Keir Starmer was interviewed by the BBC, and he was asked, after the election results, most people don't think you'll actually get an overall majority, so would you do a coalition with the SNP? And instantly he goes, no, I would not do a coalition with the SNP. And then he went on to say, their beliefs and their wanting to split up the union and all this kind of stuff goes against my beliefs and wishes, so there's no way I'd do it. So he said, well, Chris Mason, the BBC reporter or chief political editor, said, what about then the Liberal Democrats? And he said, well, that's hypothetical, isn't it? And he said, well, the SNP was hypothetical as well, but he answered that one. And he refused to answer whether he'd do one with the Lib Dems. Now, the Lib Dems did one with the Conservatives a while ago, and we all see how that ended up. So, yeah, Keir Starmer, absolute wet lettuce. I'm not even going to do the joke, I'm just going to call him a wet lettuce now. You can figure it out yourself if you want. Meanwhile, there was parades in Moscow for a very, very, very excited group of people, as you can see there in this lovely photograph, including Vladimir Putin and his cronies all dotted around. Looks like that's his mum to his right. Probably not, but you never know. And yeah, there was this lovely parade. They do it every year, but it was toned down due to the fact that obviously they are still at war. Now, he thought by this time last year he'd have already won the war and it'd be a victory parade. This year it got even more ridiculous. They had one tank to parade through Red Square, and this one tank wasn't even a tank that is valid for fighting. It was like 80 years old from World War II. The word pathetic immediately springs to mind, but then again, how many times have we said that about Putin? Yet he still seems to be going strong. It's really, 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 really annoying that he's still doing what he's doing and being allowed to do what he's doing by the people of his own country. And it's not like they're scared of him. I'm sure there's enough people around there who can actually do something, but they choose not to. Brings us up to Wednesday. Good old, get your hashtags ready. There was a trial starting on a phone hacking scandal from a few years ago. Prince Harry and others have brought up this case against the Daily, I think it's the Daily Mail and the News of the World newspapers regarding phone hacking, including people hacking his phone when he was only 19 years old. Now, phone hacking obviously is a bad thing. It should not be done, should never have been done, and certainly not to a 19-year-old, regardless of whom they are. But yeah, there's MGN is who it is, and they have apologised. But yeah, it's going to go to trial and could take a while. The UK government abandoned plans to axe most EU laws that we've inherited from the EU. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because I think we should have the minimum. I mean, now we control our own laws. If the EU come up with a law that's actually quite good, then maybe we should adopt it. But they've come up with the stupid laws that they have done, then we don't adopt them. And I think basically what we need to do is get rid of the crap ones, but keep the good ones. So we keep animal welfare, particularly in farms and places like that, up to EU standards, if not higher than EU standards. But then we don't worry about bendy sausages or straight bananas or out daft like that. We just get on with our own thing. So yeah, they're not scrapping loads of laws. The problem would have been if they just scrapped these hundreds and hundreds of laws, which have, because we've been in there for decades. If those laws had replaced the British laws with the new EU laws, and then we scrap the EU laws, that means we've got no laws for that, whatever that is. Which means then you'd have to redo all the laws for everything else. So they've figured out now that that's probably not the best idea they've ever had. So thank God someone's seen sense, and we're going to keep the laws that we've got, but we can always change the ones we don't want. Or even better, the ones that we think we can do better. So yeah, we will see with breath abated what actually comes on in that one. Didn't he send one side because he wanted peace from the war he started? No, I don't think so. I think it's the one he's got left. Where are we up to? Oh, more scandal. We've had the SNP scandal recent weeks. Now it's Plaid Cymru, Plaid Cymru, which is the Welsh National Party. Now it's almost like there's something going on against the national parties of Wales and Scotland, and obviously the Northern Ireland's just gone completely to pot anyway. But yeah, Plaid Cymru are in crisis, and the leader, Nick, I can't remember his surname, but Nick is resigned after a culture of misogyny and more disgusting stuff going on within the party was reported last year. So yeah, hopefully we can clean up politics, but let's be honest, neither Labour nor the Tories are particularly good at being non-misogynic. They've all got their issues over time, and we all saw what happened a couple of weeks ago with our good friend who got the whip removed. So that was Wednesday. That takes us nicely to Thursday, because Thursday was always a good day. Well, not really, but you know, we just have to pretend it is. Every day is a good day. Well, it's not. But Britain said we're going to send some of the Storm Shadow Scalp EG missiles. We're going to give them to Ukraine, and that means they can do long range strikes against targets in the Ukraine that's already occupied by Russia. So this is the longest range missiles that Ukraine have been donated, and it does look like it could make a difference. And I don't know if they've got them already, but I know there's been a few missile strikes that are looking really, really good on the part of Ukraine. On the bad side, interest rates rise again, this time to 4.5%. And you can see there from 2007, well, about 2008, where they were just under 6%, and then it went down to 0.5%, and then in 2021 during COVID it went down to practically zero, and it's just crept up and up and up. So if you have a mortgage, basically you're feeling the pinch. I know I am. And if you're renting and your landlord's got a mortgage, you're going to feel the pinch as well, because prices are just going up left, right and centre. Whether or not it helps, I don't know, because they say they're doing this so that people won't spend money and make inflation bigger. But then we're giving people pay rises, and we've also got the food that's going up in price. Now what do people do? Stop eating because they have to pay the mortgage? It doesn't work like that. People just get behind with the mortgages because you have to eat, and the fuel as well for your car and for your lighting and your heating, although I'm admitting now you don't need as much because we're going into summer, it says optimistically. But yeah, it just seems a bit silly keep putting them up, because yeah, it's not, I don't think it's going to help. Didn't South Africa get found giving Russia weapons? I've not heard directly about that, but there is a possibility. The Trans-Pennine Express has had its, well, the people who run it, which I think is first, have had the contract not renewed. In fact, they've had the contract taken off them, and the government are currently running it. It's not been nationalised as such. It's merely being controlled by the government while someone else is found to run it. But it does bring you back to the old adage of how the hell can you expect something that's been privatised to run as well or as cheaply as it was when it was nationalised, when the government expects people to do it for less money than what it would cost them to do it, but give the same service or better service. It doesn't matter whether it's trains, whether it's power supplies, whether it's departments in the NHS, mental health units, whatever. If you've got a private company doing it rather than the government doing it, they're going to have to take a cut because they are a private company. They need to make money, and the only way they make money is by profit, and the only way they can get profit is by thinning down whatever it is they're doing. And that seems to be what's happening with the trains. But anyway, I don't use the trains, but I know a lot of people do, and hopefully there will be an improvement, but it won't happen overnight. Sadly, this is Thursday, and there is a massive cyclone heading towards well, places that don't need it. I mean, literally some of the poorest countries in the world, with some of the most refugees in the world as well. It's been described as a potential catastrophe, and it will land. This was reported on Thursday. It's not made land yet. It's got stronger than what I think they thought it was going to get, and it hasn't even made land yet. That will be happening tomorrow, which is Sunday. But thoughts and prayers with everyone who's in the path of this thing, because a lot of them are in camps, you know, like tents and things like that. I can imagine it's going to be absolutely awful for these people, and there's not a lot the countries can do to prepare because they haven't got the money or the infrastructure to do so. Which brings us to Friday, which was of course yesterday. That's how the days work, one follows the other. Zelensky was denied the opportunity of talking at Eurovision, doing a speech on the big screen, because the organisers of Eurovision say it's not a political thing, it's an entertainment programme, and therefore it's not a place for world leaders, despite the issues that they've got to actually make political statements. So for once I kind of agree, because I can't remember any country ever having the Eurovision Song Contest at their place, with their leaders going up and giving a speech or doing something. So yeah, although totally empathise and sympathise with what's going on in Ukraine, I don't think necessarily Eurovision is the place that you should be making speeches about such a serious topic. But we do wish them well. More of Zelensky very shortly. Yeah, but other countries, I feel he should have been allowed to speak after his country won, though. Yeah, I agree on that respect, but no other country does that. And it wouldn't be about, we won. It would be about, all the stuff that's going on. And like I say, I'm not at all saying that, he hasn't got a point. What I'm saying is that Eurovision is not necessarily the platform that he should be on, because, you don't get other world leaders, other Eurovisions coming on and doing speeches about anything in particular. So yeah, I think they made the right call. Although Rishi and Keir Starmer both think that he should be able to talk, but no, parliaments, and when he did that St George's Hall in London, and when he went to the UN, and when he's been to The Hague, and when he's been to parliamentary things on official business, then yeah, that's fine. But not something like an entertainment thing. Well, there's lots of kids watching and stuff like that as well. No, I don't think it's right. Imran Khan was released on what we would call bail. I think it's mainly to try and stop the violence in Pakistan, but we'll wait to see. The Archbishop of Canterbury, that well-known, respected person, got done for speeding. He's got points on his licence and fined for doing a considerable amount over the speed limit. I don't know what his excuse was. Whether his excuse was, well, I've got to practice for the coronation or something daft like that, but we don't know. Bad news: I didn't get the job as Elon Musk's CEO of Twitter. I didn't apply, to be fair, but I'd have done a better job than anyone else. Anyway, this woman, Lindy Yankanoro, she has been appointed, and she will start in a few weeks, and he will not be the CEO anymore. So we have a chance of actually Twitter being decent, unless of course she is a clone for him, and therefore will just be doing whatever he wants and nothing will change, because a lot of people saying it's gone downhill, Twitter, since he took over. I must admit, I've not really noticed, but I don't use Twitter that much. He lied. Where are we up to? Today, Saturday, the RMT, loads of strikes. There was pickets outside Wigan Wallgate station this morning as I drove past. I give them the customary greeting, as you do, and yeah, absolute. I don't know what's wrong with this country at the moment, but anyway, Zelensky. Told you the more Zelensky. He's now in Italy, and he will be able to talk to the Italian Parliament. Don't have a problem with that. Talk away. It's brilliant. Oh, we've got lots of this. I was meaning like a speech of thanks, with it not all being in their country after they won. Oh, right, okay, I'll let you off. Oh, bad news. Very good, Annie. Is she at Nealon in a wig? No, because of course Eurovision has never been political. Hint sarcasm. Yes, it's political when it comes to the scoring. The only bit I watch on Eurovision is the scoring, because it's hilarious. But yeah, we always come last. Okay, we come second last year with some space song. Oh, I hate that man so much. But yeah, anyway, Zelensky's in Italy, and if he wants to do a speech to the Parliament there, he's free to do so, and it will be reported all over the world anyway, so he doesn't need to go on Eurovision to do it. Talking of Eurovision, as we speak right now, right now, Eurovision's going on right now in a very small stadium, although it looks massive inside. I've never been inside the arena thing on the dock in Liverpool. I've walked past it, and it's quite an easy, quick place to walk past. It's not huge, but on screen it looks massive. I don't know what they've done, whether they've knocked walls down and gone through or whatever. But yeah, Eurovision's on now, but it's the boring bit. It's the bit where the people are singing. I mean, who cares about people singing? It's not about that. But yeah, as long as we remember, and particularly the Liverpudlians remember, that we are doing it on behalf of Ukraine. We are not doing it because we're Liverpudlians or anything like that. That's what knowledge means. Better than this year's. Still not hard, but still. Oh, I don't know. And instead, I wrote this song. I was going to do some more news, but instead, I wrote this song. Song. Right, we're going to go on to America. La 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 la, America. What's going on in America? We don't know what's in America. Let's have a look at the news from America. Straight away, right into it. It's just, America is just such a place that you think, why can't you see what everyone else can see at America? A 16-year-old fatally shot at a party after high school prom in Houston. So high school prom, 16-year-old, should be a really happy time. You finish school, you're about to go to college, you're having a blowout, you're having all your mates round, or you're going to somewhere to have a gig. You end up dead because you've been shot. This is in Houston, which is in Texas. It does seem to be. The majority of shootings are in Texas. There's that. It's just frustrating. I don't even live in America and I get frustrated. But yeah, it's after a dispute with the father of a girl at the celebration. The shots rang out at Houston about 1:30 a.m. and the teen was struck by gunfire, according to a press release. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Absolutely horrendous. Nobody party likes it. Yeah. Ban the guns. Yeah. We don't do anything. We'd rather give about 100 million to Ukraine. I predict UK will finish somewhere in the bottom 3 this year. What do you mean, bottom 3 this year? Nah, it's better than that. As soon as you can sing it live. I've heard her trying to sing it live and it's dreadful. Instead, I ruined this song. 7 dead, 6 injured after a motorist runs them down outside a migrant shelter in Brownsville in Texas. Of course it's Texas. 7 people were killed on Sunday and 6 other injured after a motorist allegedly ran them down near a migrant shelter in Brownsville, Texas, local authorities said. The killings, which appear to have been intentional, happened about 8:30 a.m. in front of the Ozanam Center, which houses migrants and homeless people, according to the local authorities. Active shooter opens fire at Allen, Texas outlet mall, police say. Police are investigating reports of an active shooter. Obviously, we've already discussed this in the normal news. At least one gunman is believed to have opened fire at the Allen Premium Outlets around 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. There are some victims, but we know it ended up being 8 dead and many more injured. Video shows Texas mall shooter get out of car, open fire on shoppers. Disturbing dashcam footage captured the terrifying moment the alleged gunman who killed 8 people in a Texas mall casually got out of his car and opened fire on the shoppers. The clip shows a grey vehicle pull up near the entrance of the massive Allen Premium Outlets. Shortly after 3:30 p.m, a person dressed all in black steps out from the driver's seat with a gun and immediately begins shooting people in the car park. Police searching Texas mall shooter's home where he lived with parents. Police and FBI agents early on Sunday searched the home of the suspected Texas mall shooter, who was in his 30s and lived with his parents, according to a report. Hours after a gunman killed 8 people and wounded 7 others before he was shot and killed by police at the mall. What's that catchy song? But her live vocals leave a lot to be desired, sadly. Texas Republican Keith Self condemns critics' thoughts and prayers in mass shooting aftermath. Texas congressman who represents the area of the latest mass shooting in the state criticised those who were saying that thoughts and prayers are not enough to combat gun violence. Republican Keith Self asked on CNN about people who note that prayers have not solved mass shootings in America, lashed out and said he doesn't want Saturday's massacre, which left 8 victims dead, to be a turning point for gun laws in America. No, Let's just let more people die, shall we? What a sensible person you are. Texas mail shooting suspect identified as Mauricio Garcia, the gunman who killed 8 people and injured 7 others before being shot, has been identified as a 33-year-old. A Dallas home linked to Garcia's parents was searched by police on Saturday night following the massacre. Yeah, it's just horrendous, but it's normal in America. 1 injured in shooting at Las Vegas Middle School. Now, to be fair, Las Vegas is not in Texas. An adult was shot and injured on Monday afternoon at a middle school in suburban Las Vegas, but law enforcement officials said they did not believe there was any further threat to the school as their search for the shooter continued. The shooting was reported just before 12:40 p.m. At the Ed Von Tobel Middle School, according to a statement from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Nope, done that one. Texas mail shooter appeared to time attack for max carnage. Texas mail gunman appeared to be casing his target for weeks, attacking it when it was at its busiest. After railing online against Jews, women and minorities, while noting his own mental health slide, Garcia shared more than 24 photos of the Allen Premium outlets on extremist forums in the weeks leading up to his mass shooting, seemingly determining what would be the most packed time at the mall to unleash the greatest carnage. It doesn't bear thinking about, does it, what goes through people's minds? It's just horrible. A raccoon falls through the ceiling during class after pests invade a Texas high school. Again in Texas. Texas, sort your raccoons out. Marty, I don't like it sounding like a strangled cat. That would be somewhat of an insult to strangled felines. Oh dear. A group of furry wannabe students has started invading classes at Texas high school, with some even crashing through the ceilings. A growing number of raccoons have been spotted lurking through the hallways into classrooms at the McCallum High School in Austin, in Texas. And at least 3 have fallen through the ancient building's ceiling panels. Some of the school students imagine doing your lesson and a raccoon just kind of falls out the ceiling and lands on your desk in front of you, kind of looks at you and then just trundles off. A Korean couple and son, 3 among those slain in Texas Mal massacre. A 3-year-old boy or girl was shot dead at the Russian mercenary boss backpedals on Bakhmut's withdrawal over new ammo pledge. Yevgeny, the founder of the Wagner mercenary group, reversed course on planned withdrawal from Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine, claiming that Russia's top military brass has pledged to send its fighters as much ammunition and weapons as necessary. He shared the audio message on his Telegram channel, intending his message to carry on defending and attacking the city of Bakhmut. Texas, sort your roofs out, but at least it's not a gun. Yeah, that's true. Horrifying video captures a chair swing ride collapsing in Russia, injuring 20 people. Horrifying video captures a moment. A chair swing ride in Russia collapsed, injuring around 20 people, including at least 2 in critical condition. The carousel's roof, which held the chain swings, fell as the ride in southeastern city of Orenburg was spinning at top speed. Bystanders rushed to help pull the riders from the mangled remains of the amusement park ride. I'm always wary of going on rides that are not permanently in position. You know, like travelling fairs, things like that. Mind you, I don't like going on them anyway, because all they do is just spin round waltzers and speedways and stuff like that, and it always makes me feel travel sick. I've got a delicate tummy. Nope, cat's yawning, she's bored. Shooting on a train in Dallas leaves 1 dead and 2 injured. Suspect remains at large. It's on a train. Police in Dallas are on the hunt for a gunman who opened fire aboard a DART train, leaving 1 person dead and 2 others injured. The shooting took place around 4:30 p.m. following an argument between 2 passengers travelling on a northbound Green Line train near Hatcher Station. Um, yeah, uh, you wouldn't want to make eye contact with people in America, would you? I guess it'd just take offence and get a gun out and blow your brains out. King Charles III made a post-coronation birthday toast to his grandson Archie, wherever he was. Prince Harry skipped his dad's King Charles's coronation lunch to celebrate his son Archie's birthday in California, but the royal grandson was there in spirit. The newly crowned king reportedly raised a toast to exiled grandson Prince Archie to wish him happy fourth birthday, wherever he was. Charles made the poignant tribute in a private family gathering, which that's nice. I think it's nice that it's not the kids' fault, is it, that their mum's a psycho. Most Americans don't think Biden's mentally sharp enough to serve second term. I think most Americans don't think Biden is mentally sharp. Period. UFO search. Retired Navy senior chief not going to jail to report what he saw in Afghanistan. A retired Navy senior chief petty officer said he saw a metallic orb in Afghanistan that's similar to one shown in a video during last month's Senate hearing, but there's no secure way for him to come forward. I'm going to be honest with you, I'd love to tell you everything in detail, but I'm not willing to go to jail to do it, said the retired Navy senior chief, whose name is being withheld, obviously, because otherwise he'd go to prison. I don't know why he'd go to prison for something like that, but anyway. Prince Harry only stayed 30 minutes at Buckingham Palace before flying to LA. Prince Harry didn't waste one precious second trying to get back home to his family in California following King Charles's coronation. The Duke of Sussex, 38, spent just half an hour at Buckingham Palace and didn't see any members of the royal family after the event, the Daily Telegraph reported. Harry jetted off right after his father's crowning in England to get back to the United States for his son's birthday. And to be fair, if it's your son's birthday, you want to be there, don't you? It's a bit bad that you've got the coronation and the birthday on the same day, but you know, what can you do? We've had a bit of a drop frame, but it's only 0.1%. Biden mentally sharp, wow, their intelligence never fails to amaze. Yeah, well, don't forget they allow people to have guns. Giant three-storey barge arrives in UK to house 500 asylum seekers. We have to read this on American news because I've not seen it reported on UK news that it's arrived in the UK. A giant three-storey houseboat arrived on Tuesday, ready to house at least 500 asylum seekers to help ease the daily $7.5 million hotel bill. The Bibby Stockholm arrived by tow in Falmouth, where it will be refitted before moving again to be berthed off the coast of Dorset. The UK government announced last month that at least the barge for 18 months to house 500 single adult males who are free to come and go off the barge as and when they choose. Now, this is a problem we have with all these people saying, oh, you know, they're all migrants and they're all fleeing and they're all this, that and the other, but why are they all single young men? When you see the migrant boats, initially the migrant boats had loads of kids on them and women and stuff like that, but in recent months it's just young men who are on them. You know, we've got to do something about this, and I think we've just got to grab the bull by the horns, and even if we upset France, well, so be it. You've got to send them back. If they've got, I don't believe in criminalising them, but we've got to send them back, but we've got to make sure that we've got a way where if they are legitimately entitled to come here, they can go somewhere, have their paperwork looked at and all that kind of stuff, and then flown over. If you're throwing your paperwork over the side of a boat in the channel, then you know you're not entitled to be here. So if you arrive with no paperwork, you just get sent straight back. And if France won't have you, we'll just send you back to Albania or wherever it is. Although apparently the Albanians now have stopped coming because we did start doing that. Oh, hang on, someone said something. Why do we need to take them? Oh, right, okay. To house asylum seekers. Send them to France and send them with a baguette too. Okay. We'll leave the baguettes out of this, young man. Young man. A Louisiana neighbour allegedly shoots girl 14 in the head as she plays hide and seek. I mean, you know, the old joke in the older days was if, you know, the kids next door kick the football over the fence all the time, you'd pop it and throw it back. Of course, you probably get sent to prison for 5 years for doing that now. But this Louisiana man allegedly shot a 14-year-old girl in the back of the head as she played hide and seek with a group of friends on his property, where he told police he opened fire after seeing shadows. David Doyle, 58, has been charged with aggravated battery, 4 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm, and the illegal discharge of a firearm, police said. Yeah, book thrown at him. Just like, dad who claims he adopted violent adult masquerading as a 6-year-old breaks down over the abuse. A family in Indiana that adopted a young girl from Ukraine, but later alleged she was an adult masquerading as a child with intent to harm the family, are speaking out about the ordeal 13 years later. We were all abused, Father Mitchell Burnett screams in the trailer for an upcoming documentary on the investigation Discovery. I hate this. Yeah, off his head. 6-year-old girl. Oh, that's a woman pretending to be a 6-year-old girl, and she's trying to kill us. Putin tells Red Square parade, real war unleashed on Russia, because obviously it's the rest of the world who are attacking Russia, isn't it? Nothing to do with Russia attacking Ukraine unprovoked at all. No, it's our fault, not his fault. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday told his country's Victory Day parade on Moscow's Red Square that a real war has been unleashed against Russia by the West's untamed ambitions, shortly after the Kremlin's force rained cruise missiles on the Ukrainian targets. Today, civilization is once again at a decisive turning point, Putin said at Moscow's annual commemorations celebrating the defeats of Nazi Germany in World War II. A real war has been unleashed against our motherland. Oh, delusional. Absolutely off his head. And Putin is as well. But I'm talking about Prince Harry, aren't I? Royal family wondering why Prince Harry bothered to come to Charles's coronation. Members of the royal family have reportedly been left scratching their heads as to why Prince Harry even bothered to show up to King Charles's coronation. The Duke of Sussex spent less than 28 hours in the UK, arriving Friday afternoon and heading back to London's Heathrow Airport as soon as he stepped foot outside Westminster Abbey. One makes one's choices, a source close to the family told Vanity Fair. Probably wasn't King Charles, to be fair, and that wasn't the best thing. But yeah, get back on your plane, Harry. I think she tried stabbing them during the night. Well, to be fair, if I was 6-year-old being accused of being an adult trying to kill them, I probably would as well. I've got a great new book. Nowadays, I'm probably a weirdo for actually reading books. It's Roy British Shaw, read 15 pages, and it's immense. I've only put it down to watch this. Alright, okay. I didn't know you could read, to be fair, Annie. He came to hide behind a hat. Yes, he did. You remember that hat. Yeah, America again. Texas mass shooter bought AR-15 and other weapons legally. The AR-15 rifle used in the Texas mass shooting was among multiple weapons that were legally purchased by the gunman Marcinio Garcia, according to reports. A law enforcement source said that the weapons were mostly bought from private sellers, which is legal in Texas. The collection of weapons was obtained over time, leading up to the attack that left 8 people dead. Well, that's alright, as long as he bought them legally. I mean, shocking gun violence data reveals it starts in teens. And this is a Harvard study. Right, I'm not a professor, I'm not a brainy person, never went to university, never even went to college. And I've only been doing this with America involved in it for what, but not even a year yet with America involved. Or maybe about a year with America involved. And even I knew it started with teens, which is why I keep saying, why do you let teens get access to guns? It's also starting with pre-teens as well, very sadly indeed. But anyway, Harvard study has come up with the same thing that we all knew. The rest of the world knew this, Harvard. So yeah, sort yourselves out. Sort yourselves out. Ozempic helps natural killer helps natural killer cells curb cancer in people with obesity. This trendy new drug is doing double duty. Weight loss drugs containing semaglutide, including Ozempic, could be used to fight cancer, a new study suggests. Researchers at Maynooth University in Ireland explored the wide-ranging benefits of the GLP-1 medications that are commonly used to fight obesity, discovering that treatments may aid the body's ability to fight cancer, which sounds brilliant. Let's hope they can get somewhere with that. Trump rages he has no idea who E. Jean Carroll is after the verdict. Former President Donald Trump raged that he has no clue who E. Jean Carroll even is after a federal jury found him liable for sexual abuse and defamation and have ordered him to pay $5 million in damages. In capitals, I have absolutely no idea who this woman is, he posted on his Truth Social platform. This verdict is a disgrace. Yes, absolutely disgrace that it's only a what's it called? It's not a proper trial, basically. That's the disgracing part of it. I mean, we've all heard the coverage of him talking about grabbing ladies in places he shouldn't be doing, and they love it and they can't do anything because he's Donald Trump, etc. Putin brutally mocked over lone vintage tank in Russia's scaled-down Victory Day parade. Vladimir Putin's annual Victory Parade in Moscow, meant to showcase Russia's military might, failed to impress, with critics poking fun at the lone World War II era tank that was seen rolling forlornly through Red Square. The event celebrated the Soviets' victory over Nazi Germany in 1945 and was drastically pared down after compared to years past, featuring only 8,000 soldiers. I mean, it is like blowing smoke up your own bumhole, isn't it, these parade things? So he's been brought back down to earth for a little bit, so that's probably a good thing. It took just 4 minutes for the gunman to kill 8 people in the Texas Mall shooting. Well, it will do, because he's got a semi-automatic weapon, which Texas allowed him to buy legally from another person who probably couldn't care less what his mental state was or who he was, because he was getting cash for a gun he didn't want anymore. Trump is found liable of sexual abuse, defamation in E. Jean Carroll case in order to pay $5 million in damages. So that's basically the confirmation of what we were just discussing before. I think she is actually an adult, pretending to be an adult, and try stabbing them. Oh, we bought them legally, so it's okay. Why not work on the obesity instead? Yeah, obesity, but also on the curing cancer as well. 8,000 soldiers. 8,000. Woke cult. Hello, Paul. What? I've not even mentioned woke yet. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of time for that. But I've not mentioned it yet. Texas school officer Jeremy Gibson resigns after comparing women to worker bees. A Texas school board has unanimously accepted the resignation of the Galveston school superintendent after he made sexist comments belittling women whom he compared to worker bees. The Galveston Independent School Board voted early on Tuesday as part ways with Dr. Jerry Gibson after hours-long debate. Yeah, okay, we've gone woke, Paul. You're right. I think being referred to as a diligent, tireless, working, organisating creature, okay, maybe not a bee, isn't necessarily the worst thing you could have said. You could have said they should be chained to the kitchen sink, or they should be, the 70s rhetoric. But yeah, anyway, it's America, isn't it? I've said that. It's probably the same over here these days. Someone will clip what I've just said, won't they? Oh, at least I'd chain them to the kitchen sink. Yeah. US to send Ukraine 1.2 billion in military aid package. Now this is going along the line alongside of the missiles that we're sending from the UK. US will dispatch an additional 1.2 billion in military aid to Ukraine as Kyiv prepares its long-anticipated counter-offensive against Russia. You know, that secret counter-offensive that no one knows about, although we've known about it for months. That one. But anyway, yeah, it's yeah. I really do. A UK citizen extradited to US and pleads guilty to 2020 Twitter hack. A citizen of the United Kingdom who was extradited to New York from Spain last month has pleaded guilty to cyberstalking and computer hacking schemes, including the 2020 hack of the social media site Twitter. The US Justice Department said on Tuesday that Joseph James O'Connor, 23, was charged in both North Dakota and New York. The North Dakota case was transferred to the US District Court, and we will await the full trial. Well, he's pleaded guilty, so it'll just be sentencing, won't it, thinking about it? Although it's America, so they'll probably have a trial as well. But surely people like that, you want to get on your side, because if they can do that on their own from the bedroom, then just think what they could do if you give them all the power. They can actually do good stuff. AFP journalist Armen Soldan killed by rocket fire in Ukraine. A Bosnian French video journalist covering Russia's invasion of Ukraine since the onset of the conflict was killed by rocket fire while reporting from the front lines on Tuesday. Armen Soldan, the Ukraine video coordinator for the Agence France Presse, was with fellow AFP journalist and group of Ukrainian soldiers near Kazov Yar when the team came under fire around 4:30 p.m. The news agency said that Soldan, 32, was killed when a Grad rocket landed near him. Yeah, you've got to admire all the reporters from all over the world who literally risked their lives, in this case literally risked his life and lost his life, trying to get the truth out of what is going on in a horrendous situation and trying to, get the story out there. And we forget that these people are just like the rest of us, they're just humans. And yeah, you've got to applaud them. But horrendous. It's just doing his job, and he won't be coming home. His family are never going to see him again. A Detroit gas station shooting kills man, injures two over a $4 dispute, with someone shouting, "Please man, don't shoot us." One man was killed, another injured after a Detroit man opened fire in a gas station over a $4 purchase dispute with a clerk. Yeah, guns in America is such a good idea. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. Temple University offers porn studies for study course. The other sex ed. Temple University students are eager to discuss porn. Professor Jennifer Pollitt, the Assistant Director of Gender, Sexuality and Women's Studies at the Philadelphia Institution, said the student cap for her new porn study course shot up from 25 to 40, with many more on the waiting list for the popular class. The course is called Social Perspectives and Digital Pornography, the Other Sex Ed. Yeah, you can do a course on pornography now. It's not something I've ever been interested in, genuinely, just never interested in anything like that. But I know the majority of people are, and can you imagine doing a degree on it or a course on it? Absolutely bonkers. But yeah, no wonder as I said, no wonder the numbers have shot up. Probably not the only things. Cops open fire on suicidal man like cowboys from a John Wayne movie, a new lawsuit claims. South Carolina deputies acted like cowboys from a John Wayne movie when they fired off dozens of bullets at a distraught man during a caught on video incident in 2021. According to a new lawsuit, Trevor Mulmax was struck 9 times in the barrage of 50 bullets from York County deputies as he sat in his pickup truck while being consoled by his mother. Yeah, so no threat to anyone, in 2021, and the police shoot him. So there's now a multi-million-dollar lawsuit going on, and rightly so. 6 people stung to death by killer bees after bus plummets into hive. I mean, how big was the hive? But yeah, horrendous. I mean, I assume that's someone who survived, but I mean, look at the. I mean, ugh. 6 people, including an 8-year-old girl, have been killed by a swarm of bees after the bus they were riding plunged into a ravine and hit several beehives. Okay. The tragic incident occurred in Nicaragua, with the vehicle veering off the road during an hour-long journey in the northwest of the country. Approximately 45 people were on board the bus when it reportedly suffered a blowout and ended up careering off the road. Yeah. I've never been stung by a bee or a wasp, which means I probably will get stung by a bee or a wasp in the next 2 days, because it's normally what happens. Not for dollars, that much was shooting someone. It apparently is. Why should we hire you for the job? Well, I have a degree in it, yes. But not over 45 degrees, obviously. Meghan Markle, in disguise, speaks out about the coronation conspiracy theory. Now, there was this theory that Meghan Markle had actually gone to the coronation wearing a really crap wig and a really crap stick-on moustache. Turns out it's a real person. Don't ever label that man the master of disguise. He's a Welsh composer whose music was performed at the King Charles's coronation on Saturday, and he's dispelled the rumours that he was Meghan Markle in disguise at the lavish event. A viral conspiracy theory was spawned at the ceremony at Westminster Abbey on May the 6th, when the broadcast showed a quick shot of Jenkins, Meghan Markle in disguise, Jenkins, 79. Oop. With large glasses and his grey hair and beard. Someone said to me, Meghan Markle was at the wedding. I'm like, no, she wasn't. She was in America with her son for his birthday. And then they showed me a picture of it, and then said, hang on a minute, I think I recognise that person. I think it's, and yeah, it's a composer from Wales. New York City teen brain dead after getting shot in gang-related dispute outside Queen's Park. A Queens teenager who was shot in the head and critically wounded on Wednesday after getting into a playground fight is now brain dead. Claudia Quante, 16, was in an SUV outside Locust Manor Park after settling a beef with another group of girls when shots rang out around 8:30 p.m. with one slug hitting her in her head. Again, another teen shot for no reason whatsoever. I mean, kids, teenagers, all over the world have arguments, fights, bust-ups, things like that. But in America, you've got a gun, you just get a gun out and shoot the person who's annoying you. Trump to appeal the $5 million judgment. But the woman involved is thinking about suing the ex-president again. So he's formally signed that he will appeal the $5 million judgment against him. As the writer's attorney said, she's thinking of suing him again. Trump, 76, was found liable of sexual abuse and defamation against Carroll, 79, by a Manhattan federal jury for allegedly assaulting her at the Bergendorf Goodman Hotel. So yeah, he's going to put an appeal in, but now she's thought, you know what, I can get more money out of him now, so she might go for it again. And rightly so. If he's done that to her, then she deserves every penny she gets, because he's just getting away with, well, I won't say murder, but you know. 13-year-old hardened criminal. A 13-year-old hardened criminal. I mean, that sentence should not even exist. On probation, shoots a cop during a gun battle. A 13-year-old boy, described by authorities as a hardened criminal with no regard for life, shot at police officer during a foot chase in Florida and was wounded in the exchange of fire. The gun battle unfolded around 5 p.m. on Wednesday in the city of Lakeland as police officer Jamie Smith, formerly of the New York Police Department, was responding to a 911 call reporting a drive-by shooting at a couple of blocks away from Simpsons Park. In America, 13-year-old hardened criminal is not weird. Ukraine says it has pushed back Russian forces in Bakhmut. The Ukraine army on Wednesday said that Russian forces have begun to retreat in the key city of Bakhmut, just as President Vladimir Zelensky stressed that more time is needed to prepare a counterstrike. The hotly contested eastern Ukrainian city that has been the backdrop of many of the war's fiercest battles has seemingly been abandoned by some Russian troops, according to Ukraine's ground forces. Now, I can only think it might be the Wagner group, and the actual soldiers are like, this, we're getting out of here, because they haven't got any weapons or anything. And yeah, Putin can say, oh yeah, get all the weapons you need, but they haven't got them there and then, and people are shooting at you. What are you going to do? Moments Ukrainians annihilate fleeing Russian troops with their own anti-tank missile. A video has emerged showing what appears to be fleeing Russian troops being struck by their own anti-tank guided missile that had fallen into Ukrainian hands. In the footage, key forces operating in the Ukrainian-made Stunner P anti-tank guided missile systems are watching on a monitor how their comrade turned Russian Kormet missile system against the enemy. So basically, they're being blown up by their own stuff. But again, allegedly, maybe, possibly, always take anything when there's a war on with a pinch of salt from both sides. A pinch of salt from the Ukraine side and a salt mine from the Russian side. Not that I'm saying that they don't tell the truth, the Ruskies, but you never know. Alligators in the sewers. Myth is true. City workers find out in a jaw-dropping video. New York might not have the infamous alligators in the sewer, but Florida has a real thing. A work crew in Ovidie, Florida, proved the New York City urban legend was a Sunshine State reality after discovering a 5-foot gator residing in a storm pipe. Footage of the scaly subterranean terror is currently stirring up a crap storm in the city of Ovidie City Administration. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you're an alligator. It's perfect. It's comparatively cool because it's in Florida. It'll be comparatively dry, I suppose, and sheltered, and it goes straight into where you get your food from. So yeah, you'd obviously live there, wouldn't you? I don't know where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are, but no doubt they'll be coming up at a later episode. Michigan school district bans backpacks after third grader caught with a gun. Third grader. A Michigan school district has banned backpacks after a third grader was caught with a gun in their bag. The second firearm confiscated this week from elementary students in the district. The third grade student was found with a loaded handgun in their backpack at Stocking Elementary School in Grand Rapids, according to the district. This is as serious as it gets. Yes, this is as serious as it gets. You've got a third grader, a child, with a loaded gun in their backpack. You don't need to ban backpacks. You need to ban guns that kids can get their hands on. A teen migrant boy dies while in government custody in Florida. A teen migrant from Honduras who arrived in the US without a parent or accompanying guardian has died while in government custody in Florida. He was called Angel Herrado, and on Friday he was acknowledged by the US Department of Health and Human Services. The agency expresses its condolences to the family of the deceased child and is in communication with them during this tragic time. No cause of death has been given. I mean, the sad truth is people die all the time for various different reasons. It doesn't matter how old you are. So maybe it's just natural causes. You don't know. But let's hope it's nothing more serious than that, as serious as it is. YouTuber admits he intentionally crashed a plane for clicks. The sponsored dollar feds. It was a mile-high flub. A California YouTuber could be facing serious jail time after revealing that he orchestrated a plane crash in an alleged attempt to garner views for his channel. Trevor Jacob, a 29-year-old pilot and skydiver, copped to his unorthodox flight plan as part of a recent plea deal. Jacob confessed that intentionally to make money from the crash as part of a sponsorship deal for the promotion of whatever. I'm not even going to say what it was, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do anything for clicks. Oh no, the cat's given birth to 15 kittens whilst I've been doing this. Meow, meow, meow. Yes. Oh no, she's eaten them all. Burp. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do anything for clicks. Ridiculous idea. There we go, that's the next one. His channel crashed with him. Nurse caught watching soccer on phone while taking blood from a seizure patient. Brilliant. Not. A nurse was photographed watching a soccer game while taking blood from a 19-year-old seizure patient and suffered no consequences. The patient, Libby Bates, was taken in an ambulance for a home in South East London to Queen Elizabeth Hospital on February the 8th after having a non-epileptic seizure. Her mother, Nicola, knew that the past health workers have struggled to find a vein to take blood from her, a bit like my mother. She's like Dracula's nightmare. Obviously she's got blood in her, but can they ever get blood out of her when they want to do blood tests? No, no, no. But if she nicks herself, a finger or whatever, it's like a shower, it's like a fountain of blood. But they try and get blood out of her. Nah. I even said to them once, why don't you just get a little knife and just touch your finger with a knife and you'll have as much blood as you need. I didn't, but you know, you get the idea. But yeah, this nurse was watching football whilst taking the blood, which seems reasonable. Could have been a big match. Of course I'm lying. It's an absolute joke. More so when you think about all the strikes that are currently going on and they're coming up with stuff like this. How dare they call it soccer? Yes, indeed. How dare they? Louisiana police find woman's body in a walk-in freezer at Arby's restaurant. Authorities in Louisiana are investigating a suspicious death after a body was found in a walk-in freezer at Arby's restaurant in New Iberia. The New Iberian Police Department said the female victim was an employee at the restaurant and the cause of death has not been determined. It was another employee who found the sad case of the woman deceased in the freezer. Madeleine McCann's parents share heartbreaking message to mark her 20th birthday. The parents of Madeleine McCann have issued a heartbreaking statement on what would have been her 20th birthday. Maddie went missing when she was 3 years old while on holiday in Praia da Luz, Portugal on May the 3rd, 2007. Maddie and her sisters had been left asleep on the ground floor of an apartment while their parents had dinner at the Ocean Club's open-air tapas restaurant about 50 metres away. What's that? We all know what's in the chicken nuggets. Oh, no. Too far. Madeleine McCann. Tragic case. For reasons I'm not going any further than that. Chicago residents shred local politicians over plans to house illegal immigrants at a closed high school. Now, there are illegal immigrants and legal immigrants all over the world. There's more migration now, I think, than what there has been possibly since World War II. And it's a worldwide thing going on. Possibly because the worldwide economy has just gone tanked and absolutely gone crap. I don't think we can put the whole world economy at Liz Truss's door, but I'm sure we can put quite a bit of it at her door. Sadly, not at number 10 anymore. I say sadly, thank God. Chicago residents condemned local leadership last week for plans to house illegal immigrants in a shuttered high school in the neighbourhood. Now, we've got the same thing going on in the UK with the barge that we've already mentioned, and thoughts of moving them into disused prisons and old military bases and things like that. The main problem, the main thing is we need to get them back where they need to be. If they're illegally meant to be here, then we need to sort them out. If they're not legally meant to be here, then we need to return them ASAP. No messing around. A fisherman sentenced to 10 days in jail after pleading guilty to charges in Ohio tournament cheating scandal. Two fishermen who pleaded guilty to charges stemming from an Ohio tournament cheating scandal were sentenced to 10-day jail terms and will be on probation for a year and a half. If you remember, they were the guys who stuffed fish with lead weights and fish fillets in an attempt to win a fishing competition, and they're going to jail for it. I mean, you can walk around and shoot people with a gun, or you can have a gun and shoot people, or you could just have a gun, but you dare cheat in a fishing competition, you're going down. I suppose they're lucky they didn't get shot by the police. Passenger late for Philly-bound American Airlines flight charged with making a bomb threat. That's what we all do, isn't it? Not. Oh, I'm gonna miss my flight. There's not another one for another 2 hours, so I better ring up and pretend that I put a bomb on a plane or something daft like that. Yeah. Hopefully he does get jail time for that, because that's just sick. A dangerous rabbit terrorizing residents of Iowa neighborhood. Run away, run away. An adorable but menacing rabbit was reportedly terrorizing residents of an Iowa neighborhood, and it is not the killer rabbit of Carabang from the cult classic film Monty Python and the Holy Grail. The black bunny has been lurking around the streets of Perry, a suburb of Des Moines, and aggressively attacking people, according to a local news establishment. 2 people have been reportedly bitten by the vicious beast. Beast, it's a rabbit. And to be fair, I think a more up-to-date term for that would have been the Wallace and Gromit Weir rabbit, rather than the Monty Python rabbit thing. Rabbit, 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 yep, 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 rabbit, 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 yep, 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 rabbit, 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 lost my rabbit. Don't you get it when you lose your rabbit? Where's my rabbit gone? Oh, that's a rabbit, isn't it? I think that's a rabbit. Is that the rabbit? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's a rabbit. Okay, I found my rabbit, so we're alright. Oh, no. Oh, no. I've lost my rabbit again. Where's my rabbit go? There he is. There we go. Let's get an interesting person on. It's Donald Trump. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sort your Trumps out. Trump campaigning attack ad uses stock images from Ukraine to depict Americans suffering under Biden. And you're like, what? A former President Donald Trump's campaign used images from Ukraine to depict Americans suffering under President Biden in an attack ad titled Mourning in America. Under Biden's unprecedented inflation, the hopes of own ownership are gone, and young adults forced to abandon seeking the American dream. So basically, he's using images from Ukraine, where there's a war going on, war crimes and all that, to lie to the American people that this is actually American images that's going on because of what President Biden's doing. Now, I'm not saying President Biden's a good president by any stretch of the imagination, but bloody hell, Trump, how low can you go? Well, we all know, don't we? Let's be honest. A federal judge in Virginia strikes down laws banning gun sales to adults under 21. A federal judge in Virginia on Wednesday ruled that federal law banning 18 to 20-year-olds from purchasing handguns violates their Second Amendment rights and is unconstitutional. Oh, God. I mean, seriously, these are the lawmakers of this country. And King Charles's other alleged mistress, Lady Dale Tyrone's heartbreaking life. And you're like, who? It sounds like King Charles III was quite the ladies' man back in the day, While the monarch, 74, was famously married and to the late Princess Diana through the 80s and early 90s, he additionally had a long-time affair with Camilla Parker Bowles, now Queen. Despite these two very significant relationships, Charles also allegedly had another rendezvous with Lady Dale Kanga-Tarine. While not much has been reported about this, it is meant to be, it's allegedly common knowledge. Well, I wasn't aware of it. I mean, I couldn't really care less, I'll be honest, but still. Right, this must be a thing in America, I don't know. The culture wars have gone to the dogs. A Florida school board is moving to ban furry clothing accessories, including animal tails and ears, in the hopes of halting a growing trend of students barking, grunting and meowing at each other in class. A tense Brevard County School Board meeting turned feral this week after members raised concerns over kids donning the accoutrements and identifying as whatever their accoutrement was. So if you had a big long tail and little pointy ears, you were a cat. If you had floppy ears and a tail, you were a dog. So you'd either meow or bark or whatever. And it's, yeah, I know furries is a thing where people dress up in costumes and act as various animals for pleasure, but kids doing it in school is a bit weird, to be honest. They'll ban that, not guns. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the kids can probably still come in with a loaded handgun. Probably. Families of Buffalo shooting victims sue social media companies for radicalising teen gunmen. The families of 3 victims killed in the 2022 mass shooting at Buffalo grocery store filed a lawsuit against the social media companies they claim radicalised the teenage gunman. This is just 2 days before the 1-year anniversary. The lawsuit filed on behalf of the families of Hayward, Patterson, Catherine Massey and Andre McEnroe, 3 of the 10 people killed in the massacre last year. I don't know how you can prove stuff like that, but certainly there's a point to it. Escaped goat peeping into New Jersey homes. They're trying to get the goats. A New Jersey town is on the lookout for a goat that has been seen peeping into residents' homes. The police are searching for the wandering creature, which belongs to a local individual. We know who the rightful owner of the goats is, and it's not Creekside Farms, the department said on a Facebook post. Creekside Farm is a family-run operation that includes popular roadside market in Chatham. The township police asked residents to resist any urge to pet or feed the goats. I think it's nice. Have a little goat looking through. You'd be like, oh, there's a goat looking through the window. Let's get my gun and shoot it. Zelensky arrives in Rome for meeting with Pope Francis and Italian leaders. I think he's already met the Pope Francis. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky arrived in Rome on Saturday for talks with Italian officials and Pope Francis, who said the Vatican has launched a behind-the-scenes initiative to try and end the war launched last year by Russia. Today in Rome, Zelensky tweeted, a meeting with President of Italy, Prime Minister of Italy and the Pope. It's an important visit for myself and our country. And yep, you can talk as much about it as you want as about politics and wars. I'd rather have a goat peeping in on me. Yeah, that's true. Early heat wave in Pacific Northwest could break records. An early May heatwave this weekend could surpass daily records in parts of the Pacific Northwest and worsen wildfires already burning in Western Canada. Yeah, the weather all over the world is absolutely screwed at the minute. And the wildfires are already raging in parts of the North American continent. And we're only in May. The problem you have is these wildfires pump more carbon into the atmosphere, so you're then on a spiral then of going up into even high temperatures, etc, etc, etc. 5.5 magnitude earthquake and large aftershock hit Northern California. This is another earthquake to hit California. Earthquakes have rattled large area of Northern California this week, but only minor damage was immediately reported. A magnitude 5.5 quake centered on the Sierra Nevadas Lake resort struck at 4:19 p.m. on Thursday, and a magnitude of 5.2 aftershock occurred at 3:18 a.m. On Friday, according to the US Geological Survey. It is worrying that there seem to be more earthquakes going on in that part of the world, bearing in mind that it's not far away from the San Andreas Fault, which is not far away from a major movement. Yeah, movement, that's the right word, it'll do. And therefore disaster, but hopefully the building authorities in America, and Florida in particular, have actually sorted out everything and it's all good. Is Florida on that side? Am I thinking Miami? I'm thinking of Miami, aren't I? Ignore that. I scrap that. No, ignore all that completely. Absolute nonsense. Right, this is Australian news. Meanwhile, down under, I come from a land down under, and we're struggling with our cost of living because the whole world is. Energy. $3 billion investment in energy bill relief for eligible homes and businesses. So they're getting up to $650 for homes and $500 for businesses. It maybe should be the other way around. A $40 fortnight increase to income support payments. 11.6 million Australians eligible for bulk billed GP visits. And $2.7 billion investment to increase Commonwealth rent assistance, which is a 15% increase on the maximum rates. So basically, it's all kicking off down under as well. If it moves and there's a gap, just throw the guns in. The federal government is offering $14.6 billion in cost of living relief in the budget of 2023 in Australia. Yeah, it's kicking off all over the world, and they even mention Donald Trump. Jury finds Donald Trump liable in sexual abuse case. That's when it broke. That's the first time I saw that. If you're rich in Australia, how's about this? Adrian Portello has successfully craned in a $3 million McLaren Senna GTR into his $39 million penthouse located on the 57th floor of the Sapphire by the Gardens building on Exhibition Street in Melbourne. So the guy has got a $39 million penthouse, and he's had lifted in by a massive crane a $3 million car. It's like, what the hell is going on? Did you hear the news about the woman on a bike who was run over? No, I haven't heard that one yet. Unfortunately, it sounds pretty bad. Coles to stop selling 15-cent plastic bags. It comes just a week after Woolworths announced the same move. The change will be implemented by the end of next month and is estimated to cut 230 million plastic bags from circulation each year. So the idea is you buy a cloth bag. You know, the Australians like to massively support anyone who's representing Australia in any way, and any victory is a good victory. Well, you'd think they'd won it, but look at this. Aussie band Voyager through to the grand final. Rock on Australia. Perth band Voyager have made it through to the Eurovision grand final after an electrifying semi-final performance. The Australian synth metal musicians will battle it out for the Eurovision title on Sunday morning in Australia. Well, no they won't, they'll battle it out on Saturday night in the United Kingdom. But I know what they mean, I'm not stupid. Mummified body found in Gold Coast home. Homicide detectives are investigating a shocking discovery after a mummified body of a 69-year-old man was found in a Gold Coast home last month. Police suspect the man had potentially died years ago in the home where his wife and stepson also lived. So yeah, All right now, exactly, Smiley Mac. Man, 4x over the limit, hit her, then drove over her while she was on the ground. The video was awful. Oh God, yeah, don't look at that. Top 10 jobs at risk of being replaced by AI. But only you've got the money to buy the AI to do it. A new report reveals AI could replace the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs. It is predicted that admin light work and financial traders are some of the most at-risk jobs. Okay, so what we got? We've got proofreading and fact-checking, traders, banking and accountancy, graphic design, copywriting, paralegal, customer service, software engineering, data entry, and entry-level admin. They won't need entry-level admin because the AI will do it, and then they'll just work their way up the chain, and then we'll all get blown up by nuclear weapons when the AI realises that the humans are actually destroying the planet that they exist on. Macca's found at fault after nugget burn. Macca's. That's what they call McDonald's in Australia. Not Mackey's, Macca's. Macca's is what we call Paul McCartney. Well, it's crap songs. Oh, it's one of Macca's. Bum, 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 bum. To be fair, that's one of his better ones. I've gone through quite a lot of his solo singles recently, and yeah, I forgot how bad he was. McDonald's US and the franchise holder have been found at fault after a hot chicken McNugget fell on a little girl's leg, causing second-degree burns. The girl's parents sued, say they failed to adequately train employees, failed to warn customers about the dangerous temperature of the food, and for cooking the food to much higher temperature than necessary. I don't think I've ever had a chicken nugget that would ever even burn my mouth, never mind my skin. But anyway, Palace releases a line of Succession pictures. So here we go, in case you didn't know. We've currently got King Charles, who's just took over. Behind him there you've got Prince William, who was King Charles's son, and then the other side you've got Prince George, who will be the king when Prince William dies, who'll be the king when King Charles dies. And they kept saying for this coronation, it's once in a lifetime, once in a generation, things like that. And it will be for some people, but for the majority of people on the planet, the coronation, this is not a once in a lifetime event. It will occur again in the next 10-15 years, because that's how things go, isn't it? Anyway, on that bombshell, let's go to the funny, shall we? Or basically, and finally. Not so many this week, but I'll be honest with you, there's a couple of good ones. There we are. I'm not going to do them in order. I'm going to do them backwards because the first one is actually the best one. Giant asteroid the size of 65 Peter Crouches. What? To slam into Earth's orbit. Former England international footballer Peter Crouch measures around 2.1 metres, which means if 65 of him were stood on top of each other, it would be the same size as an asteroid dubbed 2023 HT4. I mean, who measures asteroids in Peter Crouches? Why don't you just say it's 130 odd metres big, this thing, or it's the size of 15 bully deckers? You can't say that about Macca. I can say what I want. Some of his solo stuff was awful. I mean, really awful. Is this our new measuring system? Yeah. Yeah, a foot. Well, one of his feet would be like that long, won't it? So a foot's gone bigger. I know I said I should have done that, but I didn't, so we're alright. I ran a quarter Peter today. Well, about 4 miles, really. This is a duck and her ducklings taking a shortcut through a school with students in it doing schooly things, and it's a quite a good video actually, of it just wandering through. Spies Like Us coming up. I'm trying to think of the horrible. I think the last thing he did that was half good was Pipes of Peace and Ebony and Ivory. And then the stuff right after that was dreadful. And then he, Macca did the one a few years ago. I can't remember how it went, but it was something along the lines, if I come onto you, will you come onto me, or something. And that was sick as well. Yeah, that's exactly the right number of ducks as well. I'm impressed. Smiley. And then, here we go. A Peppa Pig jigsaw puzzle. This is the last thing we're going to talk about tonight. Oh, how many childhoods would be destroyed by that one image? Particularly if they knew what a jigsaw was. I mean, most children who like Peppa Pig probably not aware what a jigsaw is and get the joke or the sickness of it. But either way, that just made me laugh quite a lot. There's so many baby ducks in Wigan Park currently. I don't know, I've not been to Wigan Park for a while. And that, surprisingly, ends this week's What a Week that was. Yeah, after Pipes of Peace, dreadful. Alright, so you do agree with me then? So you had a go at me, Billy, and now you agree with me. That happened in my favourite Peppard episode. You Peppard? Wasn't it one of the 18? Anyway, big shout out to Smiley Mac, Angela O'Kane, NE. I think all these people are watching Eurovision, to be fair. Marty Hopkirk. Don't forget with your chat, you get a shout out at the end. Oh, we got WTF there. Alright, okay, that was the girl, woman thing you were talking about. Billy Shears. Oh, Pepper. I didn't think it was Peppa Pig was anyway, yeah, so it's been a pretty quick one tonight. We've done it in, how long have we done it in? How long have we been on for? We've been on for 1.5 hours or thereabouts. So, and obviously we've got a lot going on with the thing, Bob. So we've only had 29 views, but an average of 17 minutes per view, 3 likes. We've got 6 people currently watching and a chat rate of 5. So that's all good. Angela, silence is great. She's had the kittens, she ate the kittens, so I get more clicks. And now she's gone downstairs. Oh no, she's on the windowsill, looking out the window. What are you doing, Silence? Psst, psst. Oi. Psst, 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 psst. No. Oh, she's not looked at. She's asleep on the windowsill. Time to go see the results. No, we're early yet. They'll still be singing. I really can't be bothered with that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are, and we will see you all again. Still got 10 to go. I don't watch Eurovision. Yeah, I don't watch it. I only watch the voting because it's hilarious. Yeah, I love her tasting videos. Well, we've got a couple more lined up, I think, if she can be bothered. Fast asleep on the windowsill, not taking me out at all. So yeah, there you go then. Thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are, and I will see you all again next time. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, I don't watch TV at all. It's probably a good thing, actually. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are, and if you're listening, if you're on the podcast, which I still haven't updated for 4 weeks. Oops. I'm just making more work for myself, but I've been busy doing stuff. So I will see you all again next time, or rather you'll see me all again next time. Well, not all of me again next time. I'm not doing that for clicks. You have to go on my OnlyFans page for that. I haven't got one really, obviously. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Until then, bye. Bye. Bye.